Hey folks, it's Dani Borow here, and today we have a very informative episode for you. We're going to talk about title and why it's important to know all these little intricacies. So today we're here at Swan City Title. So today I'm here with my great friend Crystal, and she's going to tell us all about titles. Such an exciting subject, right?
So exciting.
But yes, this is very, very important, crucial information that all of us need to know. But before we dig in, Crystal, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I'm Crystal with Swan City Title. I opened the company almost 5 years ago. We are located right in the heart of downtown Lakeland, in the Cohatch building, right next to like 1961 and across the street from your office, across the park, right?
Yes, and convenient to everyone to get here.
Yes.
And to grab lunch after they close on their house.
Yes, my favorite thing to do.
Yes. Why don't you begin by telling us, what is the role of the title company? What do title companies do for people?
The title company is where you go to close your real estate transaction. It's, where you sign all the paperwork and all of that, but there's way more that goes into it behind the scenes leading up to that day.
Let's talk about title insurance, because that's something that most people don't really understand. What exactly is title insurance?
So title insurance is meant to be a protection for the consumer, and it is to protect against title defects in the future. So if you buy a piece of property, you want to have assurance that nobody else has interest in the property, that there's no liens or judgments or anything like that.
Right. So let's say that the person who's selling you the house really is allowed to sell the house, that he doesn't own that property with somebody else, and then surprise, surprise.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. So is that why title searches are crucial? Is that so we take free and clear title when I buy a house?
Yes, definitely. That is the hugest component of why title underwriters do title searches, is to make sure there are no encumbrances or liens or potential heirs that may come forward from a previous owner.
So I think you kind of answered this question, but tell us about some common title issues.
There's so many examples. For instance, if a property is quit claim deeded to somebody and then that person goes to sell the property, then a title company could find out that the person that quit claim deeded that property was not actually allowed to do that. Maybe somebody passed away and the property needed to go through probate. There's a lot of different things like that. And then also there could be, judgments from creditors that attach to the property. There could be code enforcement violations.
Yes, that's a big one. I also hear if somebody doesn't pay their electric bill, what does that do?
So separate from a title search, we also conduct municipal lien searches, and that is to ensure that the new buyer is not inheriting any outstanding utility bills for things like electric or water.
Yes, because that attaches to the property and it becomes the buyer's problem, right?
Yes.
When they buy it.
Mm-hmm.
How about title insurance? Are there different types of title insurance?
Yes, the two main types of title insurance are the owner's title insurance policy, which protects the buyer, of course, and then there's also a lender's policy, which protects the lender's interest.
Okay, so how are their interests protected with the title insurance? It's if there's stuff that's found in the future, is that how it works?
Yes, that's a good question. So if, say a buyer buys a property, the title search didn't show, someone's great niece in the history of the chain of title actually has a little tenth of an ownership in that property, and then she decides she wants to claim that interest, your title insurance policy protects you from any financial loss that would be a result of that. And then the underwriter would cover attorney fees and things like that to help you navigate sort of that process.
Okay, so there's quite a bit of value to that. So what is the cost of title insurance and who actually pays for it? Is it the seller, is it the buyer, is it the lender? Who pays for it?
Typically in Florida, it's customary for the sellers to pay. But there are also instances when the buyer elects to pay for title insurance. So we really just go by the contract and see which box is checked. But 9 times out of 10, it's the seller. And then the buyer is generally responsible if there's a lender's policy to pay for that.
Got it. And that's something that only gets paid at closing if the property closes?
Yes, it's only paid one time at closing, and then it's good for as long as you own
the ownership.
Yes, as long as you own the property, it's good for that period of time. And then in Florida, title insurance rates are promulgated, which is a big fancy word that just means they're standard and they will be the same at any title company that you close at.
How about you explain to us the closing process and settlement? How does that work for you to close on a home?
I could get into all the details of it, but essentially we receive the contract, we order the title and lien search, we review them, make sure there's nothing outstanding or anything that needs to be addressed, like curatives. And then once title is clear to close, we call it, we kind of coordinate with the lender if there is one to get all of their documents and our documents together. And then we schedule. And then hopefully the people come into the office. That's my favorite, when they come in to close with me. We're seeing more and more people choose to do like a mobile notary situation, which is great. That's fine too. And then once the closing occurs, then we record the documents, the official records of whatever county the property is located in, and then we write the title policy, and that's it.
Very good. Now, you mentioned mobile notaries, and you said that there is an upward trend towards people choosing to do that. Is that something that you guys offer at Swan City Title?
Yes. We cover the cost of all of our sellers' mobile notaries. We'd never charge for that because we do close properties throughout the state of Florida, so it would really be unfair of us to charge them if they're out of our area.
Right. So they can just be at home and be buying a house.
Yes, exactly.
Very nice. Okay, so I think that you've covered all of the important issues, but why don't you, just to wrap it up, address the importance of a clear title? How important is it that someone receives free and clear title when they purchase a home?
I think it's hugely important because of the potential financial loss that could incur if you do not get title insurance. The return on investment, I think, is like, if you were to find yourself in a situation where you need to hire attorneys and you need to have someone help you sort of navigate the process of going through all the legal hurdles.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like if you had a quitclaim deed property, it's super important because this is usually the biggest investment of someone's life, right?
Most likely, yes.
And then even if you're an investor and you do this all the time, you don't want to lose money, So it's just a very, very, very important piece of the real estate world that I think is boring, like we mentioned, but it's also important.
It's so important to know. It's like you spend hundreds to save thousands.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds like.
Yes. It is very, very affordable. It's a one-time thing, paid at closing, and like I said, it's effective for as long as you own the property.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Crystal. This has been very helpful and informative.
And thank you for having me.
Yes, wonderful. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode and that you've learned a thing or two about title. I sure did. Thanks for watching.